good day. To actually introduce our research topic, it is at your service, a study on the working conditions of part-time working students. So we have chosen the Adamson University, the 12 ABM students for our study. Then the effects of working while studying include both positive and negative impacts. Positive impacts like earning extra cash, cultural adjustment, and having good nutrition while working. Next, the negative impacts would be having physical and emotional stress.
The researchers came up with two different theories if having a work while studying is a substitute or a complement for the education. For the first theory, which is the human capital theory, it says there that working while studying can be a complement to education for the reasons of work experiences and skills valued by the employers. And next, rise in human capital, development of transferable skills, and develop skills, practice and learn on putting and running up a business. The next theory is the primary orientation theory. Students who are oriented in school fairly do well in school regardless of the intensity of their work. Students who are primarily oriented to work do poorly in school because they treat school as second priority.
Objectives. The researchers aim to identify the conditions of every of grade 12 ABM students in Adamson University, filling the gap of lack of attention in part-time working students, and the study of it. This paper will cite the lifestyle in terms of their health, academic, and work performance.
Senior high school part-time job, working students, and working conditions are the following definition of terms used for the study.
The importance of the study is the best for majority, not the minority, and to share experience and gain knowledge. For the students, for non-working students, help gain knowledge, ideas, and means to understand their situation and status. For working students, they share opinions about their experience and to also understand their side. For the parents, for non-working and working students, these are for the guide for both working and non-working as stated. And teachers, as a parent for the students. Convenience as to serve as they would know how they handle life gives consideration to students that they can use. For the community, ideas for them to know their lifestyle, and it can help them decide to work or not to work while on their student side. The company owners, seeing their workers, their situations, and the way they treat them. For future research, the benefit of the research, and for more improvements on our research.
Statement of the problem. This study aims to know the working conditions of the ABM's working students, grade 12 in Adamson University, which has three factors. Number one, what are the working conditions met by grade 12 ABM working students of Adamson University? Second, how does being a working student affect them in terms of number one, academic performance, number two, health, number three, work performance, and last, what are the coping strategies that help with their difficulties?
Research design. The study employed a qualitative research and phenomenological study technique as the chosen research design in gathering and analyzing the data. Population. The participants in the study are grade 12 students of Adamson University from the Strand ABM who are currently working as a part-time worker. From the population, 5 part-time working students were interviewed to share the experiences of a working student.
To establish a triangulation, after conducting a semi-structured interview with the grade 12 ABM part-time workers of Adamson University, the researchers interviewed close friends of the respondents to get more information about their thoughts and insights about the part-time workers. For the data gathering procedure, respondents were chosen through contingent sampling technique and from the population of grade 12 ABM students. The researchers conducted a semi-structured interview, which will be the primary source of data. The interview was validated by experts. The necessary letters were produced by the researchers in order to proceed with the interview. The researchers used thematic analysis to identify the stories presented by people in different contexts of society to sort out and reflect upon it. It emphasizes and identifies pattern meaning of experiences among respondents. The researchers respected the respondents' rights and dignity for the confidentiality of their identity. They were also informed about the study and the purpose of the study, and they agreed to have a one-on-one interview with one of the researchers.
Results. The conditions of working student. Balancing work and school. As a working student, knowing the value of both work and school is a must in order to know how to handle and make use of time efficiently to avoid conflict that could affect both. Next, social life. Working students choose work or study over their social and personal life that they tend to absent themselves from gathering and reduces social interactions. Next, shortness of time. Lack of time is a big factor when it comes to anything. Incapable of doing the tasks that they are supposed to do. The researcher said that the respondent said when it comes to time, because sometimes the time of work, it is just 1 hour only between the time of school. Next, development of personal experience. Working student might be tiring and energy draining. By development of personal experience, they will gain experience and knowledge about the things that will benefit them from in the future. Next, work-driven. As a working student, they change their mindset because working secures its financial needs. Personal and mind development. It enhances the capabilities such as the decisions and their quality of time. Next is sense of independency. They provide their own financial needs without the support of others. Next result is effects in academic performance. Limited time for preparations in terms of academic fulfillment. High chance of failure in coping schoolworks in time, conflicts with their work hours. Next is academic anxiety. Prioritize both work and school is a hard time that one cannot excel to both. Its positive effect is the working student may use it as a motivation. Minimal academic focus. Due to tired night and lack of sleep, and circumstances at work. The respondent said that one time in accounting subject, we are the last group to pass, then I feel like they all blame me because they cannot contact. Next is neglects academic responsibilities. Failing to pass all of the school requirements and disregarding academic responsibilities. Lastly is develops unhealthy study habit. They tend to cram and drink too much coffee in order to stay awake.
Next is the result for effects in health. It consists of personal growth, emotional and physical capability, physical changes, and anxiousness. For the personal growth, one's personal development is a vital part as it serves as the foundation of physical, emotional, and mental health. It is the result of continual efforts to improve oneself. As stated by one of the respondents, physically, mentally, and emotionally tired, but of course they became strong and it molds them to become a hardworking person. Next is the emotional and physical capability. Handling one's emotion is difficult to overcome. It is a challenge that takes a lot of effort to overcome because in every step, it will make you doubt everything that you do. It encourages self-belief in their abilities. One should be optimistic at handling things at all the times. One of the respondents said that the most challenging part is your mental and physical health because you will be exhausted and it will come to the point that you won't even know how to balance both work and studies. Next is the physical changes. Working students has to take double effort both in work and studies. Trying to master the maximum amount of sleep when your schedule doesn't allow for more than 5 hours almost every night can impact your studies and energy level in a negative way. It changes one's lifestyle in a way that it affects our body. One respondent experienced weight loss and the other one experienced physical change such as difficulties in sleeping and daily adjustment of body clock. Next is the anxiousness. It's an excessive or irritational dread of everyday situations. It interferes and affects with daily activities. A working student, due to stress and tiredness, can also develop extreme sadness, depression, and become fragile along with the anxiety that should be addressed and handled well. One of the respondents said that she experienced too much stress and felt like too much sadness. Next is the result for the effects in work performance. It consists of the schedule adjustment and expected work and career opportunities. For the schedule adjustment, working while studying is the mean to provide and support financial needs of the student, and working has its certain schedule. Part-time workers must work a prescribed number of hours a day period and be present during their time, but when balancing both studies and work becomes a problem. It has been a situation by one of the respondents which said that after studying, the next should be work, but I convinced my boss if it is possible to move during Saturday and Sundays. Next is the expected work and career opportunities. Being a working student gives the student an idea of what future works and career he or she will do. Our respondent said that if you are working, it's like you know what will happen after studying. It helps the working student to become competent and hone its skill. Next is for the coping strategies. It consists of the attitude, time management, priorities awareness, and treat work as leisure. First is for the attitude. For the respondents, determination, persistent, hard work, self-discipline, patience serves as a fuel to cope up with the challenges that they encounter. Our respondent said that it takes a lot of effort to become a working student, but you'll have to keep up with both the work and studies. You need determination for that to keep you going. For the time management, for anyone holding major responsibilities, control of time spent in specific activities in order to increase effectiveness, efficiency, and productivity. As stated by one respondent, time management may be, for example, can help them to manage their activities. Next is the priorities awareness. As a working student, knowing one's responsibility and the distinction of what is your top priority is. We have to prioritize the most important things against the not so important things. One respondent said that prioritizing what is more important, for instance, you should be ready to sacrifice your work for school loads. It is important to recognize what should come first and what you should choose when conflict occurs. Lastly is treat your work as leisure. Dwelling on the aspect that you enjoy in work makes you think positively about your work. It helps in coping when you're incredibly stressed and struggling with work. As for one of the respondents said that she treat it like she enjoys her work.
Discussion. The conditions met by part-time working students varies on the experience of the respondents. So according to Harvard University, a job is necessary to pay for school, and in connection with our study, one of the respondents, or almost all of the respondents, said that they were pushed to do work because of financial obligations, and they need to fund their needs. So according to the research conducted, students are ultimately affected in terms of their health, academic, and work performances. So according to the human capital theory, in which because of the students' fresh extra abilities and expertise while working, student jobs can be a complement to education through the abilities and experiences that they gain, in which it can be increased in their human capital. Human capital is the capital of the person of his or her experience in which he or she can apply it to education or to future employment. And as one respondent stated, you will also gain experiences and knowledge about the things that will benefit you in the future. On the other hand, primary orientation theory is about this theory suggests that students who are mainly oriented towards school fairly do well in school regardless of the intensity of their work, and students who are primarily oriented to work do poorly in school because they treat it as second priority. And as one respondent stated, his mindset changed because his priorities changed from studying to work because he enjoys more, or he thinks that he does not need to study anymore because he is earning profit or money. So according to this, which is stated, he mentioned that working students neglect their studies and are unable to fully comply with their respective school duties. One respondent said that there are some times that he needs to prioritize his work over his studies, and also the other respondent said that there are also times that he or she is willing to sacrifice school in order to do work loads. So according to the case of Arlan, McCoy, and Smith, he found out that working students show less motivation towards education and school life, and students face conflict in handling both their work and school duties. So the act of balancing school and work with labor market affects how the respondents are part-time working students handles both balancing work while studying. Some of them, according to Quadso, experience the effects of physical changes such as weakness and emotional stress due to having demanding physical responsibilities, workplace relation issues, conflicts by dual rule of the conditions and their work environment. Some of the respondents also develop an academic anxiety where they encounter extreme sadness more closely to depression, which can affect their performance in both academic and work. Their coping strategies are determination, perseverance, and hard work, and of course, time management and priorities awareness, which they use in order to benefit for future career opportunities that charge them while working and also while studying.
Based on the outcome of the study, the conclusions drawn are time management is the way to balance the time in terms of study and work. They experience negative effects on their academic performance due to lack of time and health status due to exhaustion. Third is work experience, financial needs, and gaining new knowledge and friends are the different positive effects that the working students might encounter. Fourth is that one of the primary problems that working students are facing is lack of communication that has negative impact to their family and friends. The limitation of the study is the researchers work under time pressure because of the ABM's hectic schedule. Second is that the number of respondents are limited due to the reason that working students Working students who are studying inside a private institution is considered a rare case. Third, respondents are frequently absent that cause the data gathering procedure more difficult. Fourth, data gathered is subjective and different from one another. Last is, the researchers find it hard to make a schedule for the consultation with the research advisor.
Recommendation. From the conclusions drawn in the study, the researchers would like to recommend the following set of ways to address the issues experienced by working students. First, for the students, working while studying might really be a difficult thing to do. Coordinating properly with the people who might help you with your struggles, like parents, teachers, friends, and co-workers in balancing both work and academics. Second, for the parents of the working students, a wider range of understanding on how working students balance life and its demands. Third, for the teachers, patience and consideration on how working students manage their academic concerns. Last, for the future researchers, conducting the same study with a new method of gathering information such as observation in specific places where the subject spends most of the time, or to conduct the study with a greater number of participants or informants to help either dig deeper of what is known or bring new knowledge.
Thank
Thank you.